A warning, this video is gonna be pretty dumb, but stick around, maybe it's the exact kind of dumb you will enjoy. It's the kind of dumb I enjoyed making. That's gotta count for something. When I was younger, I loved ninjas, but as I grew up, I still loved ninjas. That love doesn't die. It sneaks up on you in the cover of night and slices your arm with a throwing star. Ah! Can't believe that stuck. I have that back there for when I get frustrated. You know, I channel my anger into the throwing star like it's a stress ball, except when I do it wrong, my wall gets a hole in it. Not that time, though. It's pretty great. As a kid, I loved any movie that featured ninjas. I even loved objective crap like Sidekicks, featuring the American guy Chuck Norris. Beverly Hills Ninja, featuring American guy Chris Farley. Three Ninjas, oh, that was a great one, featuring three American guys. And my favorite ninja movie as a kid, a title that has the decency to just tell us up front what it's all about. American Ninja 4. But I loved the movie not for its fighting ninja action, but for one scene when the titular American Ninja climbs a vertical cliff face using this. It's a claw. I was so intrigued by this ability that I somehow convinced my mother to buy me these for my birthday when I was quite young. My mom is awesome. But when I ventured outside to try these out, boy was I disappointed. These things sucked as climbing tools. I couldn't grip into tree bark, let alone a stone wall. But that was tiny baby weak Caleb. Now, I'm tiny adult, slightly less weak Caleb, with a bunch of rock climbing skills under my belt, a belt that is, of course, black. And I'm ready to finally become the ninja that I always wanted to be. These beauties have been stored away in various basements for decades, and today they will finally be put to use to determine who is the better climber, a boulderer with just 1 year of training, or a ninja who is just that same boulderer with no years of ninja training. It's time for the ultimate ninja versus boulderer showdown. First, let's judge the most important part of climbing, the packaging in which the climbing stuff is sold to you in. The ninja hand and foot claw boxes let you know exactly what you are in for. The black and white contrast removes all ambiguity. The Japanese symbols state, according to Google Translate, definitively who these are for. Ninja. When you buy these, you are telling the cashier exactly what you are about to do. And as a bonus, my research tells me that this is the exact packaging that the original ninjas used when selling their secret gear to children. There's so much history in this package. Now compare that to the climbing shoes box. While similarly contrasty, there's no obvious imagery that connotes rock climbing. I mean, sure, there's a small image of bouldering holds, but those also kind of just look like deformed jockstrap cups. Hey, are you climbing rocks, or are you enrolling your disfigured preteen in a baseball program? Oh, there's also butterflies there. Well, that answers none of my questions. Point ninja. Now we've opened up the packages, let's compare the comfort of the gear. Look, climbing shoes are notorious for being uncomfortable, so the point you should easily go to ninjas, right? Not so fast. Both the hand and foot claws, they suck to put on. The hand claws use this buckle system that's basically impossible to put on with a single hand. You'll probably need a ninja friend to help you put these on, but good luck finding a ninja friend, what with all the black clothing and shadows. And the foot claws, while easier to attach, they don't stay attached. Look, I'm not exactly sure I'm putting these on correctly. Do I just tie a bow? I don't know. I've tried several different knots. Nothing stays put. At least with climbing shoes, the form follows the function. These shoes are feet-shaped, but these foot claws look like they were made for square-footed robots, which is stupid, because robots would make terrible silent assassins with all their robot stomping and clanking. Point boulderer. But let's get to what really matters, the climbing. Look, I'm gonna come right out and say it. The ninja hand and foot claws, they suck for climbing. The spikes, they push your hands away from the surface, meaning you can't use your fingers or your palms at all. And it turns out, those are important parts of your hands when climbing. Now, the titular American Ninja of American Ninja 4 wrapped his fingers over the base of the spikes, which does allow for a bit more control when stabbing into those surfaces, but they leave the tops of your fingers exposed, meaning a slip will completely just destroy your fingers. I don't know, maybe leaving a bloody trail didn't matter to a ninja back in ninja days. Forensic science wasn't a thing after all. Finally, the metal plate that surrounds your hand, it's so hard and stiff that it grinds into the back of your palm when you attempt to lift your body weight. Maybe my wrists just aren't strong enough to support my entire body weight, or, hear me out, these things are bullshit. Now, I don't live near any rock cliff faces, so I wasn't able to exactly mimic Mr. American Ninja's ascent, but I couldn't even get these things to work on tree bark, so I'm definitely giving the climbing point, the most important point, to the boulderer. And to further justify my assignment of this point, here's me climbing the tree just fine without the claws. Being able to get my palm close to the surface and therefore use my fingers fully is absolutely the most important aspect of climbing in this case. Not only are these things bad for climbing, they actively make you worse at climbing. But don't feel bad, ninjas. You get a point for the dismount. As a boulderer, I'm used to a nice cushiony pad to break my fall, and here, I forgot that I didn't have one. So I knocked over my camera and broke my tripod. Point ninja. That didn't involve any camera trickery. I'll be honest, I'm not convinced these things were actually used by ninjas for climbing tools. They just seem so only situationally helpful, which seems contrary to the whole idea of stealth and speed that's commonly attributed to ninjas. And while I'm no expert, remember, I loved ninjas as a kid, and so I had many books about ninjas, and I've even written an essay about my love of ninjas. You can read that on Kindle if you'd like to, link in the description below. I was a giant nerd in my younger days, sure, but I was an informed nerd. These claws honestly just seem a bit impractical as climbing tools, and that makes sense. The general belief is that these were meant for hand-to-hand combat, not for climbing, which means American Ninja 4 planted a bullshit seed in my child brain, and that the entire premise of this video is stupid. But in my defense, the box does say for climbing. So, who do I believe? A box or experts on ninjas who say that these weren't used for climbing? I don't know, it's a nice box. Well, that's it. The final score, 2-2, a tie. I don't like a tie though, and I'm sure you don't either. So tell me in the comments how you would compare climbers versus ninjas, and please, please, please assign points as recklessly and irresponsibly as you can. Otherwise, please subscribe. I'm trying to grow my subscriber number as much as possible because I'm hopelessly tied to the social media signals that measure my validity as a person. Ow. And while you're down there doing all your subscribing, watch another one of my videos. They're great. I can vouch for them.